30B2, yeah.
30B2. That's what I have at least.
Me too. We'll get to this during in a second.
Okay, it smells like wine. Yeah, real wine.
You're gonna pour?
It's breathing.
I'm sorry, it's breathing.
I'm just saying.
And the rest of the time I can't have it?
You can have it, but it's special.
It says home.
Okay. So, Yirtzeh Hashem, our learning tonight should be an aliyah for the neshama of Arnie's mother, Le'ilui Nishmas Chayamala Bas Gershon. I finished saying Kaddish today, and Mincha was his last Kaddish. Yirtzeh Hashem, should only be good things for you and for your family. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafet.
Amen.
Good stuff.
Oh, you won't be over.
I don't think either.
Sorry, we just pedaled this stuff. You don't drink wine? All right, so remember the Mishnah. The Mishnah said to us that there was 1 year that the Beis Din would always accept Eidos. Even if the Eidim came very late in the day, Beis Din would always accept Eidos. And 1 year there was a mess up. What was the mess up? That the witnesses came after the time when the Tamid Shel Ben Ha'arbayim, the Mincha sacrifice was brought. And what's the big deal about that? So the big deal about that was the Levium, the job of the Levium was to sing. And, when we say sing, we're not talking about Bruce Springsteen kinds of songs, right? What would they sing? Tehillim, right? They would sing Tehillim, and their Tehillim would accompany the part of the carbon that was called the Nesachim. Nesachim was the libations, right? When the wine was being poured on the Mizbeach, that's when the Leviim would sing. And they sang different songs. They sang a song that accompanied the Nesachim of the morning Tamid, the Tamid Shel Shachar. They sang a song that accompanied the Tamid Shel Ben Ha'arbayim. Depending upon what day of the week it was, they sang different songs. They sang a different song on Shabbos. They sang a different song on Rosh Chodesh. When I say they sang a different song on Shabbos and a different song on Rosh Chodesh, what I mean is that when Shabbos began, right, whatever day of the week, that doesn't make sense either. In other words, let's say Rosh Chodesh, whatever day of the week Rosh Chodesh was, so whatever day of the week Rosh Chodesh was, it didn't matter. What would happen? They would sing. Whatever day of the week it didn't matter, they would sing Rosh Chodesh for Musa. And when they brought the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar, they sang the regular whatever day of the week song it was. But when they brought the Karban Tamid Shel Ben Ha'arbayim, so then they sang the special song. I'm sorry, when they brought the Karban Musaf of that special day, Shabbos Musaf, Yom Tov Musaf, Rosh Chodesh Musaf, they sang the song that was relevant to that particular day, whether it was the Rosh Hashanah Musaf, the Yom Kippur Musaf, the Rosh Chodesh Musaf, the whatever Yom it was, they sang the song that was appropriate for that particular day. So basically, there were 3 times that the Levium sang, as part of their avoda. They sang the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar when the Nesachim were brought. They sang the Karban Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim when the Nesachim were brought. And they sang by the Karbanos Musaf as well. Okay? And every song was very particular. Was very particular.
Is there any record of the tune? Music?
Not that I know of. I don't know of any record of the tune or the music. That I don't know. Obviously, we do have a record of the words, but we don't have a record of the tune or music. And not only did they sing, but remember, this was it was instrumental. Right? There were instruments that were played in the Beis Hamikdash. There were cymbals, there were trumpets, there were flutes, there were lyres, there were harps,
timbrels,
right? Whatever all those things are, right? So those things were actually played. And it's interesting because obviously not every Levi could sing, right? So
that's for sure.
Right. So if you were a Levi who couldn't sing, so maybe you could play an instrument. And if you were a Levi who couldn't sing and couldn't play an instrument, so then you did other jobs, right? There were other jobs that Levium did. The Levium also opened the gates and they patrolled around. They did all of those things. So there were things for the Levium to do. So it happened on this day, right? Which turned out it was the 30th of Elul. And it was getting late in the day. And it came time for the Karban Tamid Shel Ben Har. And the Kohanim didn't wait, and the Levium did Tzilu, meaning they messed up. Right? It doesn't tell us what they did, but it tells us that they messed. As a result of that mess up, Beis Din instituted a procedure that said from now on, we'll only accept Eidim up until the Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim. Once the Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim has passed, we will no longer accept Eidim. So even if they come and even if they show up, they'll have to wait until tomorrow, and then we'll take their test.
But you don't need them.
You don't need them tomorrow, but they're there. We'll take their test.
those sharing Shel Ha'arbayim. Those we don't know.
We don't know what those were.
But they were
Correct.
probably to help, correct?
They were definitely Tehillim.
Okay, so
Correct.
we just don't know what they were, but there was a Tamid for each day of the week if it was non-Yom Tov or non.
No, there was a Tamid each day of the week, no matter what it was. Every day had a Tamid Shel Shachar and a Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim. Shabbos or
Most stuff would have been that if they didn't know it was Rosh Chodesh, they would have they wouldn't have had a Musaf. They wouldn't have had a Musaf for Rosh Chodesh. They would have trumped it by going into this.
Well, so the question is, I mean, we sort of alluded a little bit to this. Tosfos asks the question, why are we so sing a song? What about the fact that, or what happened to the Karban Musaf?
They
Because,
cut it off, is what they
right?
did.
I mean, in other words, should they have brought Musaf? So Tosfos answers the question. Tosfos says they had time to bring the Karban Musaf. It wasn't the Karban Musaf, which is a communal Karban, is not limited by the Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim. Private sacrifices are. I have a sacrifice. I want to bring a sacrifice. I want to bring a Karban Toda for whatever reason, okay? Or I gave birth. I want to bring a Karban of a woman who gives birth, right? So I can bring that up until the Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim. Once this Tamid Shel Ben Harbayim is offered, I can no longer bring it. But that only applies to private, to individual sacrifices. It doesn't apply to communal obligations. So Tosfos says the Musaf could brought, right? No problem. The Musaf could still have been brought. Okay? So, and the rabbis made that decree. Along comes Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai after the Beis Hamikdash has been destroyed. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, they were still accepting, remember, they were still accepting witnesses. We tend to think that when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, everything stopped. Not everything stopped. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai continued with much of the mechanisms of the Sanhedrin, just not in the Beis Hamikdash, not in Yerushalayim, but in Yavne. one of the mechanisms that continued was continuing to accept Eidim when it came to determining Rosh Chodesh, because the calendar of Hillel HaZaken didn't happen until later, right? Several hundred years later. So they were still accepting Eidim. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to himself, I don't know, when there was a Beis HaMikdash, when we had to worry about Karbanos, when we had to worry about the Leviim singing the wrong shir, or maybe not singing the shir at all. So, okay, then I understand we can't take now. We don't have a Beis HaMikdash. We don't have Karbanos. We don't have the Leviim singing. We don't have to worry about a particular. We should go back to what we were doing before, which mainly was accepting Eidim until the end of the year.
I'll tell you why they could. Because if they come very, very late, you may have trouble transmitting the Rosh Hashanah to the rest of the summer. It takes time. Let's say you wait until 5 o'clock.
In other words, they didn't know when Rosh Hashanah. Let's assume it was a regular Rosh Hashanah, right? It was Rosh Hashanah. It's Rosh Hashanah. The Eidim come at 10 o'clock in the morning.
The rest of the country.
No, the rest of the country doesn't know about it.
But they can at least start signaling.
No, they can't. They can't do any of that. That's a violation. Do that. So for them, it was not an issue.
Okay.
That was not an issue. Okay. So according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, we should have gone back. We should go back once the Beis HaMikdash had been destroyed, and we're out here in Galus in Yavne. We should go back to doing it the way that it was done before this mistake. That was the Mishnah. The Gemara now jumps in. The Gemara wants to know what was the mistake that the Leviim made. So there are two possibilities. Either number one, they sang the wrong song, meaning that they thought that this day was going to be the 30th day of Elul, and when the Karban Tamid Shalbein Harabayim was brought, they treated it like the 30th day of Elul. They treated it like a regular day, whatever day it was, right? When in effect, it wasn't the 30th day of Elul. What was it? It was the first day of Tishrei. It was the first day of Tishrei. So they sang the wrong song. They sang the wrong song. That's possibility number one. Possibility number two. What's possibility number two? Possibility number two is that they didn't sing any song. They weren't sure what to do, so they didn't sing any song. Those are the two possibilities. Let's look at the Gemara. The Gemara says, Ma kilkulu halavim b'shir. So what was the kilkul? What was the right that the Leviim did when it came to the shir? The Gemara is talking. This is the Talmud Bavli. It's in Bavel. Hacha targimu. Right here they explained shelo amru shira kol ikar. What did they do?
Nothing.
They didn't know what to do. So since they didn't know what to do, they decided better not to do anything. We don't know what shir to sing, so we're just not going to sing any shir. Rabbi Zera Amar, Rabbi Zera said, no, that's not what they did. That wasn't the mess up. What was the mess up? The Amru Shira Shel Chol. What did they do? They used the weekday shir, even though it was Rosh Chodesh / Rosh Hashanah. Okay. So Shamu Shiro Shel Chol in Tamid Shel Bein Harabayim.
Is this interesting?
It wasn't Chol anymore. So Amar Lo Rebbe Zera La Ahava Brei. So Rebbe Zera, remember the rabbis in Bavel, they said that the Leviim didn't sing any shir. The Rebbe Zera said that they sang the wrong shir. So Rebbe Zera says to his son's name was Ahava. So he said to his son, Puk Tani Luhu, go out and teach those Babylonian Jews, right? What are you going to teach them? Hiskinu, he said, teach them the Mishnah. Hiskinu shelo yehu mikablim edus hachodesh elo kadesh yeshaos bayom lahakriv tamidim musafim v'nizkeihem v'lomar shira shelo b'shibush. Right? What was the takana? The takana was that we will not accept edus for the new moon unless there's enough time in the day left to offer the tamid, the musafim, and the nizkeihem. and to sing the right song. V'lomar shira shelo b'shibush. And to sing a song shelo b'shibush. What does the word shibush mean? Confusion. Shibush is confusion, right? To get mixed up. So says Rabbi Zera to his son, Amras Bishlama Amor Shira Dechol Hainu Deika Shibush. Right, so I understand if they should have sung the song of Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Chodesh, and instead they sang the song of Tuesday, Yom Chol, that's a shibush.
Right.
Ella I Amras Lo Amor Klal My Shibush Ika. Right? So go say to the rabbis in Babylonia, wait a second. They didn't sing anything.
Right.
So what do you mean they met? What do you mean they got mixed up?
Sang an error,
Right? They didn't get mixed up. They just didn't sing anything. So Rabbi Zera clearly believes that the language supports his position, which is namely that they must have sung the wrong song. Because if they didn't sing any song, what kind of shibush, what kind of mix-up was there, Harry?
My confusion on this is if they knew it was Rosh Chodesh early, they knew at 12 noon it was Rosh Chodesh. So then they'll bring on the Musaf for the Rosh Chodesh. So they know to do whatever the shir for the Musaf is.
For Rosh Hashanah, right?
Okay,
good.
And then later, toward the end of the day, the final Tamid would be whatever that Tamid shir.
No. That's the point, which is different.
So
once it becomes a Yom Tov,
right,
that affects the Tamid Shel Ben Harbai.
So they'd switch up the shir at that point.
Correct.
Okay, that was my confusion.
That's
All
correct.
right.
Correct.
Why is it in the Siddur, the song for Rosh Chodesh and the song for Rosh Hashanah is still a Tuesday, or still the same whole song we daven in the morning?
I mean, why don't we?
Which we will still say the right. We'll still say this. Yeah.
The Tamid, the Vilna Gaon said that Yom Tov, his position was that you don't say the regular Shir Shayah.
Okay.
Based on this people follow Minhag probably in Yerushalayim. Okay? They do it that way. You daven in Tel Aviv.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. Because we don't change.
On a Yom Tov? Yeah. And they said their usual Shir Shayah.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know.
And also, second, why don't we have a Shir Yom on Mincha also based on this?
We don't have it anymore. It's been lost.
It's been lost. The Christians been lost.
Okay. So says the Gemara. So that was the question Rabbi Zera asked. Rabbi Zera said, what kind of shibush is there if they didn't sing? I understand if they sang the wrong song, so then there's a shibush. But what kind of shibush is there if they didn't sing a song at all?
No, it's a mistake.
So answers the Gemara.
So a mistake.
Kevan de lo amor klal ein lo chashibush gadol mizeh. What does Gemara say?
There's no bigger confusion.
There's no bigger confusion.
Not doing anything.
That's correct. In other words, yes, it's true that if you don't say the right shear and you say a different shear, that's confusion. But if you literally don't know what to do and you don't say any shear, you can't get any more confused than that. At least the people who sang a shear thought that what they were doing was right. Here, you didn't do anything. You were just completely left in a confusion.
So with these shirim, was this halachic or was it avoda? What if they didn't do it? What was the other than
Well, it was part
there
of the
was an
service.
appearance
It was
of
part of the
confusion?
It was part of the avoda of the karbanos. It's part of the avoda of the karbanos. Now, I think maybe what you're asking, Larry, is if they didn't do it, does that mean the karban was invalid? Right? So it seems from my research that karban was not invalid. In other words, not singing, not doing the nisachim does not invalidate it. You can do the nisachim at a later time. So it seems that the shir was not ma'akid, meaning if they didn't do the shir, the karban was still valid. But they didn't do their part of the avodah.
It was like a hidden.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how to qualify it, but whatever what was their part of the avodah that they didn't do, right? You know, sort of like I don't know. Maybe you have, I guess, in a cantata, you have some people who are supposed to sing a very high part, and let's say they don't sing the high part. right? So the cantata is still a cantata, but they didn't fulfill their responsibility. That's the same thing here. The Levium didn't fulfill their responsibility. Okay, so the Gemara continues. We're on 30b3 now. The Gemara continues. Masi Rav Acha Bar Huna. Rav Acha Bar Huna asks the following question on what we're just said. Tamid Shel Rosh Hashanah Shachris Hilchoso. What happens when the Karban Tamid of Rosh Hashanah was brought, Shachar, right? The morning Karban Tamid of Rosh Hashanah. So it was Karav Kihil Chaso. What does that mean, Karav Kihil Chaso? It was brought according to its halacha. What does Karav Kihil Chaso mean? It means it was brought with the shear of the day. Look at Rashi. Rashi is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines up from where it gets wide at the bottom of the page. 6 lines up. Karav Kihil Chaso. Shol Kemishpat Hayom. Kemo Sha'anu Shonim B'Maseches Tamid. Hashir Shalavim Hayu Omrim B'Beis Hamikdash B'Yom Harishon. Okay, so what happened in the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar? What happened?
They said the Monday.
They said whatever day of the week it was. Okay, I don't want you to lose your place.
Even the second day?
Even the.
It has to be the second day.
No.
But the first day we don't. But the first day we don't know that it's Rosh Hashanah yet.
So the first day in the morning, they don't know what day it is. They say the Tuesday.
Right.
By Wednesday,
They know that's Rosh Hashanah.
they may know for certain that it's Rosh Hashanah. They're still saying Wednesday. They're not saying Rosh Hashanah.
That's what it sounds like.
Well,
I
is there-
agree.
But
They
was
say
there
about
Rosh Hashanah Shel Shachar?
No, we're talking here about the day of Rosh Hashanah.
The first day.
The first day of Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, but
The
you
first day could be the 31st.
No,
Let's say
the
no
first
Adam
day
comes.
could be the 31st.
No, let's say no Adam show up on the 30th. Therefore, it's not. And we all know for certain that the next day is the 31st is Rosh Hashanah.
The next day.
They still sing the
No.
Tuesday.
No, in the morning they sing it like Rosh
Rosh
Hashanah.
Hashanah, because it has to.
It has to be. Okay. Open up your Siddur for a second.
But if
First day, they don't know. I understand that. Pick a page.
Pick a page.
201. What do you got?
I'm thinking about 54.
It might have been a mistake to bring these. Let's see.
It's 54 is cut. No, it's not one. It's 54. Oh, I see. That's not in this
Well,
one.
of course, I was looking
This is-
for
That's when I was
the.
born.
54?
No, looking at 24.
This is different. This is Rosh Hashanah.
I was looking for the Inu, which I don't see in here. Probably not in here. Mhm. No. Sorry, I don't see it here. Check to the regular sitter,
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah, because this doesn't have Shabbos.
Oh, you want to go to Shushan?
Right. So in Ein Kelokenu that Ashkenazim say on Shabbos and Yom Tov, and Sephardim say every day of the week. Right. In that Ein Kelokenu, the Brisa, the Mishnah from Maseches Tamid appears. And that's a Mishnah that we're going to refer to in just a minute. You're all familiar with it. It comes at the end of Ein Kelokenu. What?
No,
It's in the Pitum Torah, but it's after the Pitum Torah.
okay.
I'm sure she
Okay. Good job. Okay, so first you have the Pitum HaKtores, okay? Then after that, right, you have, so we begin after Ein Kelokenu, Pitum HaKtores is the first paragraph. Then Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer is the second paragraph, and that's part of the Karbanos as well. And then we get to the Mishnah from Maseches Tamid, which is our Mishnah. Hashir Shahalavim Hayu Omrim Beveis Hamikdash. Right, this is the shir that the Levim would say in the Beis Hamikdash. This is the Mishnah in Maseches Tamid that we say every Shabbos, every Yom Tov, and that Sfardim say every day. And it goes through the different shirs, different shirot, or shirim actually, that would be said each day. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this, and we're gonna flip to the individual shirim to see. Let's just get to that page.
105.
Okay, good. 105. Just hold your pace at 105. We'll come back to it. Okay, so again, what does Rav Acha Bar Huna say? Tamid Shel Rosh Hashanah Shacharis Karef Gehil Chaso. B'Musaf, in the carbon Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, Mahu Omer. What does
If it's a Musaf, they know it's Rosh Hashanah.
right? But he wants to know, what do they say?
Well, which did I say that?
Right, which of the Tehillim do they say? Mahu Omer. So he says, Harninu lelokim uzenu, hariu lelokei Yaakov. Okay, where is that from? Look at your Torah or Hashalem. Right, it is source number 2. Comes from Tehillim Pei Aleph. Now, they didn't just say that particular pasuk. They said the entire chapter of Tehillim Pei Aleph. Right? Pei is 81. Pei Aleph is 81. So they said the entire Tehillim Perek 81. Okay? And this does have it in the back, I think. Yeah. But it says a little base to take you to the little base at the top. Does it have Tehillim here? Hopefully. Gosh, does it even have Tehillim on it?
It has the.
That would be
Marshia,
the Shabbos
Marshia.
It
minhag.
has the Mishnah.
All right, doesn't
Look
have it.
at
All
the
right, my bad.
Shabbos minhag.
My bad. Okay. All right, so this one has.
Yeah, it does have a little bit. I don't know, 81, huh?
It just has a couple. It just has a couple, right? Wait, so Tehillim Pei Aleph is Lamanatzeach al Hagitis la'asaf Harninu lelokim uzenu hariu lelokei Yaakov. Right, that's the whole. They said the entire chapter, and the reason they said the entire chapter was to get to this pasuk. Right, what was the pasuk? The pasuk of Harninu. This is pasuk Beis. Harninu lelokim uzenu hariu lelokei Yaakov. Why did they get to that pasuk? Because what is it talking about? Hariu. What does hariu mean? What is hariu? What's the word in hariu? Teruah. Hariu sounded teruah to the God of Yaakov. Why did they specifically choose Kapitel Pei Aleph? Because Kapitel Pei Aleph contains in it the verse that says, Harninu, rejoice, Harninu, Rina, right? Gila Rina Ditzavecheta. Harninu, rejoice, Le'elokim Uzenu, to God our strength. Hariu, right? Sound a trua, Le'elokei Yaakov, to the God of Yaakov.
And this is for what?
This is what they sang
From Musaf of Rosh Hashanah?
with the carbon, with the Nisachim of carbon Musaf on Rosh Hashanah.
Because it's also the Tamid, it's the Shir Shal Tamid Shel Shachar
For
Yom
for
Kanishir.
Thursday, right? Look at the Psalm of the day for Thursday. Larry's absolutely right. Right? Look at the Psalm of the day for Thursday, and what do you have? You have exactly this one, which Larry is going to cause us to ask what question?
Why?
Why are you saying that?
What happens if
it's Wednesday.
Rosh Hashanah falls out on
Thursday.
Thursday? Do I just repeat? I'm a lady, right? In the morning, I said this. Now, what's Musaf time? It's Rosh Hashanah. Do I say this again? Do I just repeat it? Do I say, do I do something else since I said it already in the morning? So Larry's observation is indeed going to bring us to that question, okay? But that's right. That's what they would sing. So on Rosh Hashanah, they would sing this. If it was Rosh Hashanah that fell on Thursday, that's a separate question, what they would do. Okay, let's go back to the Gemara. B'mincha mahu omer, what did they say in Mincha? So at Mincha, they said, Kol Hashem Yochil Midbar. They would say this from Tehillim. Where is it? Tehillim, right? So with the Karban Tamid on Rosh Hashanah, they would say Tehillim Kaf Tes. Kol Hashem Yachil Midbar. Okay. Ubizman Shechal Rosh Hashanah Lihiyos B'Chamishi B'Shabbos. Anticipating Larry's question. When Rosh Hashanah fell out on Chamishi B'Shabbos, Shehashira Shalo, what is the Shir Shayom for Chamishi B'Shabbos? Harninu Lelukim Uzenu, which is the exact same thing that they would sing. What do they do if Rosh Hashanah falls out on Thursday? Lohaya Omer B'Shachris Harninu Bipnei Shechozer V'Kofel Es HaPerek. What would they do? They wouldn't say Harninu at Musaf. All they're doing is simply repeating the same perek twice. Ella Mahu Omer. So what would they say? They would say Hasirosi Misevel Shichmo. Now, what is that? That is beginning Pasuk Zayin. So they, in the morning, they would say chapter 81, but only from verse 7 and onwards. And when it came time to do the Musaf, what would they do? Then they would sing the whole thing. So they would, yes, it's true, they would repeat part of it, but repeating part of it is not as bad as repeating the whole thing, right? At least they had a chiddush. They had something new in what they did for Musaf.
But that's the case that they knew in the morning that it wasn't going to be Rosh Chodesh.
So they knew
They
in the morning that was Rosh
They
Hashanah.
knew it could be.
They
They knew it possibly could be if witnesses showed up.
I don't know, but what if they didn't? Now, we learned already that in the morning, they always did call.
You're saying, what would they do?
Thursday
if-
morning.
It was a
first came
Thursday.
after the morning.
Right, we was just,
Karban.
Thursday
So
morning,
then-
they would have said the
Then they
whole
would
thing.
have said the regular Thursday.
And then what would they have done? What would they have done with this? Okay, good question. Look at the Gemara. The Gemara is
You're right.
going to pick up exactly with that question, exactly what Mitchell asked. V'im ba'u eidim achar tamid shel shachar. So if the eidim came before the tamid shel shachar, then we're not a problem, right? Now we know it's Rosh Hashanah. We'll do it. We'll start the Shir Shayom for Thursday from Pasuk 7.
Or
And when it-
Thursday's the 31st.
And when it comes time to do the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, we'll begin Pei Aleph with the very beginning. V'im, but what happens? What happens if the Eidim come? I'm sorry. What happens if Imbao Eidim Achar Tamid Shel Shachar Omer Harninu? You have no choice. What would they do? They would sing. They would sing the whole thing, all of chapter 81. Af al pi shechozer b'kofel es haperek. Even though what they were going to do later was to simply repeat the perek. In other words, right? If they didn't have a choice, they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. They had to repeat it, right? What are they going to do? So says the Gemara. Now this is why here we didn't get to the question yet, right? We just have this statement. Now we're going to remember it's a massive. Whenever I have a massive, it began as a massive, but we didn't get to the question here. Here comes the question. I amras bishlama kol hecha de mistafka amrinan shira de chol hainu de ka'amar omro v'koflo. In other words, this is supporting which position? This seems to be supporting Rebbe Zera's position. Remember, what did the rabbis in Babel say? The rabbis in Babel said when they didn't know what to do, they didn't do anything. What did Rebbe Zera say? When they didn't know what to do, they said the Shir Shel Yom, whichever weekday it was. What does this support? This seems to support Rebbe Zera, right? Because if you say that when they didn't know what day it was, they would say the regular Shir Shel Yom. Okay, now we understand. They said the regular Shir Shel Yom, Harninu, the entire chapter 81. Now Edom came, right? Edom came, so they were faced, what are they going to do? Okay, so they said the chapter 81 over again. However, I Amras, but if you want to say, Ella, I Amras, if you want to say Lo Amor Klal, that they didn't say, if they didn't know what to do, they didn't say anything like the rabbis of Bavel wanted to say. So my Omro V'Koflo. What is this statement that the Mishnah makes of Omro V'Koflo, that you repeat it? What are they repeating? They didn't do it, right? They didn't do it. So they didn't do it because according to the rabbis from Babel, if they didn't know what to do, they didn't do anything, right? They did nothing. So if they didn't do anything, that when the Edom came and it was time for it to be, and it was Rosh Hashanah and they had to bring the Karban Musaf, what do you mean Omro V'Koflo? What do you mean you say it again? You didn't say it again. You never said it the first time. So this seems to be a proof for whom? This seems to be a proof for Rebbe Zera, or at least a kasha against the rabbis of Babel. At least a kasha against the rabbis of Babel. Okay. So says the Gemara, Shiny Hasa. Right, that case is different. Shiny Hira de Yomehi, because it is the Shir Shel Yom. What does that mean? Shiny Hasam de Shir Shel Yomehi. Look at Rashi. What does Rashi say? Rashi says, "De la'olam ki hecha de mistafka milsa kedom b'mincha." Rashi is explaining, and Rashi says, whenever they had a doubt, like at mincha time, Hayom Kodesh, because of the day's Kodesh, lo shayach lemeimar dechol, you shouldn't say the regular chol. V'havei chol lo shayach lemeimar de Kodesh, and if it's chol, you shouldn't say Kodesh. Lo amrin and klal. They didn't say anything. However, hacha, we're not dealing with mincha. What are we dealing with here? The hacha hainu taima da amar shira dechol b'chamishi b'shabbos de shira de yomehi. In other words, what did they do? The Levium said as follows. The Levium said, today might be Rosh Hashanah.
Well, today, Thursday.
Today is Thursday for sure.
Today is Thursday for sure,
and
it might be Rosh Hashanah. Right? So what? So if they said today is Wednesday and it might be Rosh Hashanah, according to the rabbis of Bavel, they didn't sing anything. According to Rebbe Zera, what did they do? They said the Shir Shel Yom for Wednesday. Okay? Now we're talking about this particular case. So how did the rabbis of Babel explain this case? It was the 30th of Elul fell out on a Thursday. So the Levium said to themselves, let's think here. Maybe today is Chol, in which case we should say the Shir Shel Yom for Chol. What's the Shir Shel Yom for Chol? Pei Aleph. On the other hand, maybe today's Rosh Chodesh / Rosh Hashanah, in which case we should say
less than all.
No, in which case we should say what? No, we should start from verse 7.
Yeah,
No, we should say less than the full, but still the same Parak 81. So they said, you know what? This is not like a Wednesday that might be Rosh Hashanah. Because a Wednesday that might be Rosh Hashanah, we're going to be completely off base. We're saying 12 and it should have been 81. Today, it's not that way. Right? If it's either 12 or 81, we're not going to say anything. But here, it's either 81 starting at verse 7 or all of 81. So that we can go out on a limb, so to speak, and we can say 81. And if it turns out that it's Rosh Hashanah, We'll just repeat it. We'll just repeat it. So the Gemara says this is not a kasha against the rabbis of Bavel. It was brought as a kasha against the rabbis of Bavel, but since the case it's dealing with is a case of Rosh Hashanah that falls out on Thursday, and since on Thursday the Shir Shal Yom is the same as the Shir for Rosh Hashanah, right? Either way, from 7 to the end, we're covered. So the only question is the first 6 psukim, right? So if it's not Rosh Hashanah, so we're supposed to say those first 6 psukim, right? Because if it's not Rosh Hashanah, we're supposed to say Olaf Pei Aleph is the Shir Shayom for Thursday. On the other hand, if it is Rosh Hashanah, so we're repeating those first 6 psukim.
What they do in the Mishnah.
What did they do in the Mishnah? What do you mean?
In other words, there you have no doubt. In other words, no. Yes, they didn't come, but they don't have to travel anywhere. You're all together.
Yes. But what if they came after noon?
No, but they're all together. So whatever they're seeing, they're seeing. Let's say it's cloudy. So then I guess we'll just be the 30th.
Right. If it was cloudy, or Tal is asking, it wasn't like if you lived up north, you could see the moon, and if you lived in the south, you couldn't see the moon. Tom's in the Mishkan, they were all together. So either everybody saw the moon or nobody saw the moon, basically. I think that's what you're saying, right?
In theory, but
Right? Well, it's the same thing. What happens if the Sanhedrin saw the moon? Right? If the Sanhedrin itself saw the moon? So the Gemara discussed that. What they did. Okay? All right. So the Gemara.
So this is the Thursday 30th exception.
Correct. Correct. This is the Thursday 30th. Good at alliteration. The Thursday 30th situation.
The question they can it's just 7 days a week. Do they have distinctive properties that have associated Tehillim?
Yes. Yeah. So Eddie's asking the question, basically, that we're going to get to on Lam and Aleph, which is how did the rabbis decide which Tehillim should be said on which day? In other words, what went into that decision? Was there a symbolism? Because we saw that there was a symbolism by the shir that they sang for Rosh Hashanah. Because it mentions singing to, it mentions sounding a trua. What makes each day, what gives each day its impetus for shir? Okay? So that's what we're going to see. Okay. Tanya, we learned the following, Bryson. Okay, right? Tanya, we learned the following. This is the Mishnah from Maseches Tamid. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says Mishum Rabbi Akiva, in the name of Rabbi Akiva. Barishon Ma Hayu Omrim. What did they say on Rishon? Lashem Haaretz Loah. Right. So which is this from? You have it in front of you. Right. Go to the Shir Shal Yom for Sunday, the Shir Shal Yom for Sunday, chapter, right, Chaf Dalid, right, Lashem right, begins L'David Mizmor Lashem Haaretz Loah. Why did they choose that particular chapter of Tehillim for that verse? They chose it for that verse, which said Lashem Haaretz Loah, Al Shem Shekana V'Hikna V'Shalit Ba'olamo. In other words, what happened on Yom Rishon? This was the first day of creation. What happened on the first day of creation? Shekana, Kadosh Baruch Hu acquired the world. V'Hikna, and he gave it over. And V'Shalit, and he ruled over his world. Right? He did all of those things. Okay? Look at Rashi. Literally go right over to Rashi. Sha'aretz. Right? He acquired everything, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he created it, he acquired it all. V'hikna. V'hikna sevel liyoshvei ba kilomar kone kidei lahaknos. In other words, what did Kadosh Baruch Hu do? He acquired it in order to give it over. Who did he give it over to? Ultimately, he gave it over to us. Right? He was a kone and he was a makne. He acquired it and he gave it over to us.
Where did he acquire
He acquired it by creating it. He didn't acquire it from anyone. He acquired it by creating. Right? So there are two ways in which you can acquire something. You can acquire something if it belongs to somebody else and you acquire it through one of the methods of kinyan, or you can acquire it by making it.
Right.
If you create it, you acquire it. It belongs to you. Okay?
First day was the Or of Kosher, right? So it has the earth, it has the rivers here, the land, the seas.
Well, you're right, but everything starts with Lashem Haaretz Umloah. In other words, that's the point of the first day. The point of the first day is Lashem Haaretz Umloah. Everything belonged to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Einachinami, Eddie, you're right, that it goes on to describe what happened in other days of creation. But the first day of creation, the main point is that everything belonged to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. He was Kone'et and he was Makne'et. The Shalit, look at Rashi, the Shalit Ba'olamo, Yechidi Shelo Nivru HaMalachim Ad Yom Hashem. The Kadosh Baruch Hu was the only one, right? There was no other force in the world until Yom Sheni. Yom Sheni, Kadosh Baruch Hu created the Malachim. But on the first day, Lashem Haaretz Umloah was only to Hashem, and it was Haaretz Umloah, the land, the world, and everything that was in it. So that's why Chav Daled was chosen for the first day of the week. Basheni, what about on Monday? Basheni Mahayu Omrim. So look at the next day, right? Sunday was Chav Daled. Monday is Memches. Mahayu Omrim. Shir Mizmor Lifnei Korach. Gadol Hashem Umuhulal Ma'od. Right? What's the essence? Why was that kapitel chosen for Monday? Because what happened on Monday? Al Shem Shechilak Ma'asav U Malach Alehen. What happened? Shechilak Ma'asav. Right? Rashi explains Shechilak Ma'asav. What happened on the second day? Hivdil Rakia Bein Elyonim Lisachtonim. What did the Kadosh Baruch Hu do? He divided between the upper waters and the lower waters. Vinis aleh, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, went up. He restricted himself to the upper level. The Yoshav b'marom, and he sat, however Kadosh Baruch Hu sits in the upper level. Dugmas shcheno be'iro v'har kodsho. Right? In other words, he's dwelling in his holy place. So what happened on the second day? The first day was Lashem Haaretz Umloah. The second day was already Gadol Hashem Umuhula Ma'od. He was considered Gadol. Why? Because he took his place. In other words, where was HaKadosh Baruch Hu's place? In the Shamayim. How did he get to have a Shamayim? He created it. He divided between the lower waters and the upper waters, and he chose his abode, if you will, in the upper waters. He chose his abode in the upper waters. So what does that tell us? That talks about Hashem's greatness. Gadol Hashem umuhulam ma'od. Okay? Bashlishi, what about on Tuesday?
Isn't anything be also God's greatness? I mean, that's like, isn't that like soul stretching? You see God's greatness go apply to almost any possible.
You are right.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, thank you.
But certainly this one.
Okay.
Bashlishi, what happened on the third day? Bashlishi hayu omrim. On the third day they said, pay bays. Thank God for on Tuesday. Thank God for Tuesday. Bashlishi hayu omrim Elokim nitzav ba'adas kel. Right? What does that mean? That God is sitting or standing in the divine presence. Why? Al Shem Shegila Eretz B'Chachmaso V'Hechin Sevel Le'edaso. What happens? So on the third day now, we're talking about Yom. Kadosh Baruch Hu revealed the earth. Shegila Aretz. What did he do? He revealed a place, created dry land, revealed a place for ultimate creation to continue. Right? If the water would have continued to cover everything, Kadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't have been able to create anything on the dry land. I mean, maybe Kadosh Baruch Hu could have because he was a Kadosh Baruch Hu, but Kadosh Baruch Hu revealed the dry land in order to continue the process of creation. Shigila eretz b'chachmaso v'hechin sevel le'adaso. And what did he do? He created a place for his for the rest of his creations. Right? Created a place for the rest of his edah, for the rest of his creation. Okay. So you see, Eddie, what's happening is each of these days of creation is being referenced with a particular trait, and right, and right, and we're picking.
The rest of them wasn't such a
Okay, let's go. Baravi'i, what happened on the fourth day? What happened on Wednesday? Hayu Omrim, Kel Nikamos Hashem. Right, what do we say on Wednesday? We say Tzadi Dalid, right? Which is God of vengeance. Kel Nikamos Hashem. Why God of vengeance? Hashem Shebara Chama Ulavana. Because what did God do? On Wednesday, he created the sun and the moon. The Asid Liparami Ovdehen. And what is going to ultimately happen? God created the sun and the moon for good purposes, but people corrupted those purposes. People wound up worshiping the sun and the moon. And ultimately, what's going to happen? God is going to take care of those who worship the sun and the moon. Okay?
He's a jealous God.
So that's why it's this El Nekamos Hashem, right? That he is a God of vengeance, because he is going to take his vengeance on these people. Okay. B'chamishi, what about on Yom Chamishi? Hayu Omrim, okay, we know already. Harninu lelukim uzenu, right? Sing praise to God, who is so strong, right? Did I translate that correctly? Sing joyously to the God of our might. Why? Al Shem Shebara Ophos Vidagi. Because God created birds and fish. That's what God created on the fifth day. He created birds and fish. L'shabeach l'shmo. Right? What do you think the birds and the fish are doing all day long? Swimming and flying. They are singing Hashem's praises.
I thought the birds looking for cars.
Yeah.
But that's
And the fish were holding hooks.
not down here.
And nets, I don't know.
Or are they doing it down here too?
You know what they're saying?
No.
Neither do I. The Gemara seems to say that Ophos and Dagim, right, the birds and fish, their job is to sing the praise of the Kodesh.
Not what it is. Sing joyously to the God of our might.
Or
is it the sing? So we're focusing on the singing.
No, look at Rashi. Rashi explains it. Shabara Ophos the Dagim the Shabech Lishmo. Kisha Adam Roa Ophes Mishunim Zemizeh. No sin Shevach Lemishe Bra'am. In other words, when you go out on your bird watching hikes and you see all the different kinds of birds, so what happens? So you give Shevach to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You say, wow, Kadosh Baruch Hu created all these different kinds of birds. Now, I'll tell you when I do it. When I'm driving on Route 17, going up to the country in the fall, and the leaves are changing, and you see the foliage of all these different colors, every single time I can't help but say to myself, oh, amazing. What kind of artist was a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Right? That all these different shades of green and brown and red, right? So that's the same idea here. In other words, when you see all the different birds in the world, or all the different kinds of fish in the world, what happens? You say, wow, you have to be a somebody to do this, right? Right? It's got to be somebody who has tremendous O's, right? Tremendous strength to be able to do this. Let's keep going a little bit. I don't want to keep you too late, but it's late already. Let's just finish the days. Okay, b'chamisha, all right, okay. Bashishi hayu omrim, what happened on sixth day? Hashem malach ke'us labesh al shem shegamar malachto. Right, what happened on the sixth day? HaKadosh Baruch Hu finished malach alehem and ruled over creation. Bashvi'i hayu omri mizmor shir liyom Shabbos liyom shekulo Shabbos. Right? What did they say on the seventh day? Mizmor shir liyom Shabbos. Okay, we'll stop here for now. We will not have class next week. Okay, we'll take a break next week, and we'll resume in 2 weeks. Okay.
Before we leave tonight, we should wish